And we are live. So what's up, YouTube? This is Unger to the Max here. A salute to you. You didn't think that I would bring that back, did you? But that seems to be an oldie but a goodie. So there's just been a lot of stuff, I should say, that is going on across the sports world, and I want to share my thoughts on that. But before I do that, I had done a live stream just like a minute ago. However, stuff happened and I had to stop. So, again, I am doing this live stream on StreamYard. I will post the link if you would like to get involved in the chat, and perhaps I will allow you to join the video and react to what I'm saying. But let's get into it. So I was just watching a video on ESPN's YouTube channel about the top 5 or 6 trios in the history of the NBA. And they were doing since the 76-77 merger. So some of the options were like Bird, Parrish, and McHale, I believe was one. Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James was also on that list. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, that was an option. So, the top 5 this analyst put, I don't remember his name, he went Bosh, Wade, LeBron 5. He put, let me double check. He put Durant, Thompson, Curry 4, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman 3, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili 1. And then number 1, he had Magic, Kareem, and James Worthy. So my list is going to look a little bit differently, but I have a reason why. I didn't really get to watch Michael Jordan in his heyday because I just wasn't around for that. Him and the Bulls were dominant in the early to late 90s. Well, I was a little kid in the late 90s. So I didn't really get to enjoy Michael Jordan like some of the older people did. And I'm not saying that as an insult. Like, I've gone back and watched highlights of Michael Jordan. I've watched old game broadcasts of the 90s Bulls in their NBA Finals battles, like against the Utah Jazz, for example. I wish I had been old enough to really appreciate Michael Jordan. But having said that, is that a Rondo poster? Yes, it is a Rondo poster, Brandon Rogers. That is a Rondo poster from when he played for the Dallas Mavericks. So the reason I have that, and as you can see, I have a Warriors pennant, I have a Wizards pennant, and I have a Philadelphia 76ers pennant. I'm trying to see a game at every current NBA team's arena. And so when I go to that team's arena, I like to collect some piece of paraphernalia. Now, the last arena I visited was actually Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. And I didn't get a poster or anything like that. Oh, Engraven Bids, how are you doing? How are you feeling about your Ravens this season? Nice to meet. How are you doing, Scott Moss? So I'll show you. I have an interesting story about Target Center. But let me grab what I got from Indiana. This is what I got from Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indiana. I got a wood block, and as you can see, it's the Pacers, I guess, alternate logo. So that's pretty cool. In that game, I saw the Pacers make a massive comeback against Paul George and the Oklahoma City Thunder. It was actually Paul George's second return to Indiana, because I believe the season before was his first official return to Indiana. Anyway, so this guy knows more about sports, more about every sport than anyone I've ever came into contact with. Wow, I really appreciate that, Scott Moss. I take that as a high compliment. I've been to Capital One Arena. Yes, I went to Capital One Arena. And I actually saw the Wizards play the Indiana Pacers, coincidentally enough. And Indiana won. It was either by 1 or 2. But Brandon Rogers, I want to talk about your comment, because you said the only NBA arena you've been to is the Target Center in Minnesota. So I have a funny story about that. My dad joins me on these trips. So this was a few years ago. We had planned to go see the Minnesota Timberwolves, then the Milwaukee Bucks, and then the Chicago Bulls. So we flew into Minneapolis with pretty much the main intention being to see the Timberwolves. And they were playing the Portland Trailblazers. Well, the Target Center had just hosted the Disney on Ice and some college ice hockey tournament, which makes no sense because over in St. Paul is the XL Energy Center where the Minnesota Wild of the NHL play. So why Disney on Ice and the college ice hockey tournament didn't go there, I don't know. But anyway, Target Center had just hosted a college ice hockey tournament and Disney on Ice, as I said. And so we're getting ready for the game. And as we walk in, they're telling us, just be prepared. This game might get postponed, because they couldn't stop the condensation from coming up through the court and actually onto the floor as a result of Target Center, hosting Disney on Ice and this college ice hockey tournament. And they just could not stop the water. So the PA announcer comes on and goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, we hate to inform you, but tonight's game has been postponed." Really? Really? My dad and I had flown into Minneapolis that day for Portland, for the Timberwolves game against the Trailblazers. And the game gets postponed. Really? Really? It was the first postponed game in the history of the Timberwolves, by the way. In the history of the franchise. So that's pretty crazy. But anyway, getting back to my original point. So I didn't get to see Michael Jordan. You're right, Brandon Rogers. That does suck. So we'll have to go back to Minnesota at a different point. But I didn't get to experience Michael Jordan like my parents did, for example. Or like some of my older cousins, maybe. Because I was just too young to really appreciate him. And I didn't really get to see what him in his heyday or prime time, whatever you want to call it. However, I still consider Michael Jordan to be the greatest of all time. And here's why. Jordan, when you think of Michael Jordan, you automatically think of him in a Chicago Bulls jersey, right? Am I correct there? That when I say Michael Jordan, what NBA team do you think of? I know he went to North Carolina, but forget that. When I say the name Michael Jordan, you automatically think of the Chicago Bulls, right? I would assume yes. Okay. Essentially, Jordan only played for one team his entire career. Yes, I know he retired, tried to go to Major League Baseball, and I don't know if he actually got to hit in a Major League game. Yeah, correct. The Bulls. Whereas, so then Jordan tries to make it in with the Chicago White Sox, and that didn't go very well. So he's like, well, I got to go back to the NBA. But did he return with the Bulls? No. He comes back to the league and joins the Washington Wizards. Okay. But still, I feel like my point is valid. Yes, he did. Scott Moss, you are correct. He did play for North Carolina. But I'm just strictly talking about his NBA career right now. That's not to discredit what he did as a Tar Heel in Chapel Hill, because he was great with the North Carolina Tar Heels. But I'm strictly talking about his time in the NBA. Cool? Okay. So we've established that when you think of Michael Jordan, you automatically think of the Chicago Bulls. When I say LeBron James, do you think, at least for me, I think of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But somebody in Miami might say, no, I think of his 4 years here in Miami where he went to 4 straight finals and won two of those championships and lost 2 of those championships. How do I say this? He got bailed out of going 1-3 thanks to Ray Allen's amazing 3-pointer in Game 6. That was one of the greatest shots I've ever seen. I said it's one of the greatest shots. I didn't say it is the greatest shot. Don't confuse my words. Hold on, I'm just going to include the link for the stream. All right. So if you want to join the link, just click on that link for StreamYard and it will take you backstage. But Ray Allen's 3-pointer in Game 6 pretty much bailed out LeBron in 2013 because San Antonio had that championship won. And Miami was just able to make a miraculous comeback in Game 6 of that series. And Chris Bosh made an unbelievable block to end the game in overtime on, I believe it was Danny Green. That's pretty much, or it didn't pretty much, it did. That sealed the deal for Miami to send the series to Game 7. Again, if you want to join the stream and react to anything that I'm saying, just click the link. I just posted it in the chat. Interestingly, when LeBron was in Miami and the Heat went to those 4 finals, they only played teams from the Texas-Oklahoma region. Think about it. 2011, they played who? The Dallas Mavericks, which that was a fluke championship by the Mavericks. Brandon Rogers, thank you for the question. I will answer that shortly. But I appreciate the question, and again, I will answer it shortly. Let me just finish this up. So in 2011, Miami plays Dallas, and the Mavericks win it in 6 games. Again, that was a complete and total fluke championship. Dallas just had the right team at the right time, I guess. 2012, who does Miami play? The Oklahoma City Thunder, which that's another trio. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Now, I get it. They didn't do a lot, but in 2011, they made it to the Western Conference Finals against the eventual NBA champion Mavericks. And then in 2012, they did make it to the finals against the Miami Heat. And then in 2013, Miami plays San Antonio. And then in where Ray Allen's three-pointer pretty much gave Miami the championship. And then in 2014, San Antonio just said, nope, there's not going to be any type of miraculous three-pointer. And the Spurs proceeded to dismantle the Heat in 5 games. But think about this. LeBron has gone Cleveland to the Miami, to Cleveland, and now to Los Angeles. He's gone, I don't want to say ring chasing. That's not the right word or right phrase. I would say LeBron has done more team hopping, if you will. Whereas Michael Jordan didn't do that. As I've said, he essentially played for one team his entire career, the Chicago Bulls. So because of LeBron's team hopping, I put Michael Jordan number 1 over LeBron. Now, where did I start that whole tangent or rant from? It's because I was talking about trios. So, again, I didn't really get to experience Michael Jordan in his prime. So that's why I have the trio of Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen number 6 or number 5. That's the only reason. It's not because there's no other reason. It's just I didn't get to watch them enough to really experience it and be able to tell you like, oh, it was great to watch them. No, I'm being honest. I can't do that because I didn't get to watch them as much as I would have loved to. So number 4, I'm giving respect to them because they beat us in the 2007 NBA Finals, and they would go on to win the 2014 NBA Finals. Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. Easy. 3 Hall of Famers, no doubt. Tim Duncan's going into the Hall of Fame this season, for crying out loud. So just based off of how long they were together and the success the 3 of them had as a team, which Greg Popovich had a huge reason as to why that was. But based off the success those 3 had, I can't deny it. They're top 4 in my top 4. Number 3, I'm going with Ray Allen, Chris Bosh, and LeBron. Or, I'm sorry, not Ray Allen. What the hell? No, Dwayne Wade. Damn. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said Ray Allen. No. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. There we go. That's the right trio. Actually, no. I'm going to put LeBron, Wade, and Bosh number 2. Number 3, I am putting Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. Okay, let me just start over. Because I'm getting myself all mixed up. Number 5, I'm putting Jordan, Rodman, Pippen. 4, I'm putting Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. There we go. Number 3 is Bosh, Wade, LeBron. Number 2, Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant. And number 1 for me is Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. Okay? Cool. Now, after that little debacle, let's move on. Brandon Rogers, you want to know, where do you think Deshaun Watson will be traded to? This is an interesting question, Brandon, and I appreciate you asking. Because the Texans are saying, nope, we're not going to trade him. He can whine and complain and, do all the shenanigans he wants. We're not trading him. But, so let me get this straight, Houston. Let me get this straight. J.J. Watt comes to you and says, hey, can we mutually agree to part ways? And you just say, yeah, okay, that's cool. I get it. He's played for you for 10 years. He's done a lot for the city of Houston. So you want to allow him to, test free agency. But come on. You're going to be like that? And then you're going to go to your franchise quarterback who's clearly unhappy. I mean, you traded his best wide receiver. You didn't listen to him when he asked you to, interview Eric Bieniemy, the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, which, by the way, it is an absolute shame that Eric Bieniemy does not have a head coaching job in the NFL. It is, excuse my French, but it is complete and total bullshit that Bieniemy is still I don't want to say coachless because that's the wrong word. Because he's still the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. I guess the best way I can say it is, it's a shame that Bieniemy does not have a head coaching position in the NFL. I can't say it any better than that. Really, I can't. So, in terms of Deshaun Watson, Houston has to trade him. It's inevitable. They're going to trade him. They can deny it all they want and go, nope, we're not going to trade you. But he's their quarterback. And what's their backup plan if he says, okay, you're not going to trade me, then I'm not going to play? What's your backup plan, Houston? What is it? What's your backup plan? Are you going to draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft? What are the chances you find another Deshaun Watson? Just say. But if I had to pick a destination for Deshaun Watson, as much as I would like for him to be in New Orleans, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Saints are satisfied with Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. There we go. Let's see. What are other options? San Francisco, maybe. Although they might be like, yep, we like Jimmy Garoppolo. Although if they say that, they're idiots. Which I don't know what to make of that division now. That is, the NFC West is easily the best division in football. And who knows if Russell Wilson's going to be there. Sounds like he might want to get traded, although he hasn't outright said it. So there's a little bit of murky water there. So San Francisco's an option, maybe New Orleans. What AFC teams could trade for Deshaun Watson? I don't think the Browns will. I think we're happy with Baker Mayfield. Brandon Rogers says, I think either the Windy City, Carolina, or Mile High. I could see Chicago trading for Deshaun Watson. Mitchell Trubisky certainly has done jack shit. I mean, he has not lived up to the hype of being the number 2 overall pick in front of Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. So, yeah. Carolina, the Panthers, I've heard reports that the Panthers are willing to trade 3 first-round picks and Christian McCaffrey in exchange for Deshaun Watson. I haven't seen anything that the Panthers have officially offered that to the Texans. So I'm just going off of speculation. That was funny, Brandon. But if I'm the Texans and Carolina actually offers me that, I'm not even hesitating. I'm saying yes. But on the other side of the coin, if I'm the Panthers, why in the world would I trade Christian McCaffrey? Because other than DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey is pretty much Carolina's only offense. I'm not saying that as a slap in the face to like Curtis Samuel or any of the other offensive players that they have in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium, but in a way it's true. Who else do the Panthers have on offense other than Christian McCaffrey? Yeah, you could say DJ Moore, but he doesn't do as much as Christian McCaffrey. Like, the Panthers use McCaffrey as a running back, as a wide receiver. I've seen them use McCaffrey in jet sweeps and various formations. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers use Christian McCaffrey as a wildcat quarterback. Teams find it easier to replace running backs, but not a generational talent like CMC. Exactly. So, again, I get why the Panthers want Deshaun Watson. He would easily be an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater, who played pretty well for the Panthers, actually, in Matt Rule and Joe Brady's offense. But Christian McCaffrey, I don't know if you trade that. I don't know. And then your other one of Denver. Is it time to give up on Drew Lock? Is it time? I mean, the Broncos had to play a game against the New Orleans Saints without a quarterback. Gotta go. Oh. All right. See you, Scott. But, I mean, yeah, the Broncos had to play a game with no quarterback. And, well, we saw how that worked out. Not good at all. But it's not like Drew Lock has been bad for them. So Denver's a tough one because I totally get why the Broncos would say, let's trade for Deshaun Watson. Easily, he's an upgrade over Drew Lock, without a doubt. But have the Broncos given Drew Lock enough time? That's what I'm not sure of. It's hard to say. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Have the Broncos given Drew Lock enough time to say, hey, you're our guy, or nope, you're not our quarterback? Whether you're watching this via live stream or whether you're watching this once it's uploaded, comment in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on the Broncos? Should they go after Deshaun Watson, or should they stay pat and say, okay, Drew Lock, we like what we have with you. We're going to just continue to build our team around you. So, yeah. Oh yeah, spring training is just starting, and obviously the Dodgers are going to be the favorites. There's no question about that. Duh, they just won the World Series, and then they went out and added Trevor Bauer. Which, get this, Trevor Bauer's contract is worth more than like 3 or 4 teams' overall payrolls. I believe his contract is worth more than the Cleveland Indians' entire payroll. That's because the Dolans are cheap bastards, and they don't want to pay their all-stars. Hence why Francisco Lindor got traded to the New York Mets. But along with Carlos Carrasco. But I think his Bauer's contract is worth more than the Pittsburgh Pirates. And I believe there's another team in there. I just don't remember who it is. Let me see if I can look this up now. Let's see. Bauer's contract, the Indians' payroll, Bauer's contract for 2021 is $40 million. Okay? His payroll, or his contract, is worth more than the Indians' entire payroll at $36.5 million. The Pirates' 2021 payroll at $37.7 million, and the Orioles' payroll at $39.1. That's pretty ridiculous. That Trevor Bauer's contract, or salary, I guess you could call it, is worth more than 3 MLB teams. But again, as I just said, it makes sense that his contract is worth more than the Cleveland Indians salary because the Dolans are cheap-ass owners who don't want to pay their all-stars. Like, Indians fans went to Progressive Field because they wanted to watch Francisco Lindor. Guess what? His contract was coming up. He wanted a big contract with a lot of money, and the Dolans said, no, we're not going to do that. So what happened? He gets traded to New York and becomes a Met. Thanks. Why should I go spend a dime of my money at Progressive Field now. Why? What? Why? Are you going to even put a good product out on the field, Dolans? Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm like iffy about whether or not I want to go to an Indians game this summer. On one hand, I'm like, the Cubs are coming to town on May 12th, so I want to go to that game. But on the other hand, again, do I want to give the Dolans any of my money? Tough decision there. Again, if you have a question or comment, please feel free to write it in the comments. I'm happy to answer any of your questions or comments. That's why I do these live streams, because I want to talk with you, the viewer. Again, I shared the link in the chat. So if you click on that link, you will come backstage, and I might just allow you to join the show. I just posted the link again. So just click on that link in the chat and it will take you backstage, and you will be able to join me on the show. Anyway, so what else did I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. So the Seattle Kraken are coming into the league, or are coming into the NHL next season, right? Right. And they're going to be in the Pacific Division. So that means that the Arizona Coyotes are going to have to move to the Central Division. And I think the NHL is making the Coyotes move to the Central Division for two reasons. Number one, it makes sense geographically. But number two, I think it's also because the Coyotes are eventually going to move out of Arizona and head to Houston. Now, the Coyotes are a disastrous franchise. So I guess they would fit right in with Houston, because you have the cheating Astros, who have to play the Yankees this season. They have to play the Dodgers again. So, yeah. And they have to play everyone in the American League. So I can't wait. Jose Altuve, you might want to wear bubble wrap, especially when you play the Yankees in New York. I'm just saying. So, and the Rockets suck. They've lost 12 in a row, with their latest loss coming against us. Which, get this, the Cleveland Cavaliers sit in, I believe it is 13th place in the Eastern Conference. Let me double check on that. Just check my handy dandy NBA app. You can see it right here. Yes, the Cavaliers are in 13th place with a record of 14-21. They only sit behind the 7th place Toronto Raptor, or the top 10 teams in the Eastern Conference. Number 1 is Philly with a record of 23-12. Number 2 is Brooklyn, 23-13. So the Nets are only half a game behind the Sixers. Then you have the Milwaukee Bucks at 21-13. In 4th place are the fucking New York Knicks. How are the New York Knicks in 4th place in the Eastern Conference? What is this? Some alternate universe where the Knicks are actually good? What? Number 5 is the defending Eastern Conference champions, the Miami Heat, which I feel like last season's run to the finals was a bit of a fluke. Number 6 is the disjointed Boston Celtics. I don't think Brad Stevens is going to be the coach with the Celtics that much longer. Number 7 are the Tampa Bay Raptors. Now, I call them the Tampa Bay Raptors because the Raptors are not able to play in their regular home of the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, because of the current coronavirus. And the Canadian government is saying, no, team, you're not allowed to cross the border. In 8th place are the Charlotte Hornets. 9th are the Indiana Pacers. 10th, the Chicago Bulls. 11th, the Atlanta Hawks, who just fired their head coach, Lloyd Pierce. 12th place are the Washington Wizards. And 13th are the Cavaliers. Now, all the Cavaliers have to do is get into the top 10 because the NBA has added a new wrinkle where the teams placed ranked in the 7 to 10 position will play in like a round-robin tournament to see who actually qualifies to make the playoffs. So the Cavaliers can just get themselves into that 7 to 10 range. They somehow make the playoffs. It would be the first time they make the playoffs since LeBron left to join the Lakers in the summer of 2018, following the Warriors sweeping us in the finals. I'm still mad at Kevin Durant for joining the Warriors. It completely ruined that Cavaliers-Warriors rivalry, but whatever. I've talked about that enough. I've expressed my frustration about Durant. It is what it is. But just the fact that the Cavaliers are somehow in a position to potentially make the playoffs is just mind-blowing. But again, what the hell are the New York Knicks doing in 4th place in the Eastern Conference? What? But again, it's just that the Eastern Conference is that bad. I mean, again, the Charlotte Hornets are in 8th place in the Eastern Conference, and their record is 16-18. Yet, right now, they would make the playoffs. In the Western Conference, they would be, with a record of 16-18, they would be in 12th place. No, they would be in 10th place in the Western Conference. Western Conference is just that much better. So, the NBA champion, I think, is coming from the Western Conference. Yes, I get it. James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, they're a great trio. And they're formidable. I get it. But what happens when they go up against a big guy like Anthony Davis or a Joel Embiid? They don't have that type of size to match up with him, with a guy like that. They don't. And, yeah, they've been playing better defense lately. I'll give Brooklyn credit for that. The Nets have been playing better defense, but I know Kevin Durant's going to step up come playoff time. I'm pretty sure James Harden is going to step up come playoff time, although some of his recent playoff struggles in Houston lead me to be a little bit on the fence, but that also could be because he was playing in Houston. And Kyrie, yeah, he had the game-winning shot in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals when the Cavaliers came back from a 3-1 deficit to beat the Golden State Warriors. Coincidentally enough, yesterday was March 1st, which is 3-1. Also, the Chicago Cubs came back from a 3-1 deficit to beat the Cleveland Indians in the World Series. Don't at me. The Cubs are my favorite team in baseball. Indians are my second favorite team. There you go. I'm a Blue Jackets fan when it comes to hockey. And that's because of these guys. Right here. The Cleveland Monsters. Monsters are the affiliate of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I actually didn't get really into hockey until the summer of 2016 when I went to a couple of their playoff games when they made it all the way to the Calder Cup Finals where they swept the Hershey Bears. I was affiliate of the Washington Capitals. I was actually at Game 4 when the Monsters won it. Oliver Bjorkstrand put the puck in the back of the net with like 1.9 seconds left in overtime. That's how close it was to getting to double overtime. Since then, I've been an absolute hockey junkie, and I cannot wait for Seattle to get an NHL team next season. I can't wait. I wonder what the road trips are going to look like. That's what I'm really curious about. When an Eastern Conference team like the Blue Jackets goes out west to play the Seattle Kraken, what other teams are they going to play on that road trip? Because you're not just going to go out to Seattle and play the Kraken if you're an Eastern Conference team. Like if you're the Los Angeles Kings, yeah, that might be a one game road trip. But that's not going to work for Eastern Conference teams. So I think a road trip that includes Seattle would look like, see, it starts in San Jose, then you go up to Seattle, then you do Vancouver, and then maybe you include like Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Calgary, for example. Or maybe you do like Arizona, Colorado, and then Seattle, and then Vancouver, something like that. But that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, punch that like button like a UFC fighter and punch that subscribe button. Speaking of the UFC, triple title fight on Saturday. UFC 259. 3 title fights, 4 belts. UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya is moving up in weight class to challenge the newly minted light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz. I think Israel Adesanya is only doing this to try and get a fight with Jon Jones, who, by the way, will face the winner of Miocic and Ngannou 2 when they face each other at UFC 260 on March 27th. In the co-main event, it's going to be the consensus GOAT when it comes to women's MMA. Amanda Nunes, the UFC women's featherweight belt holder and the UFC women's bantamweight belt holder, will defend her featherweight title against Megan Anderson. And then in the third title fight, it's going to be Peter Yan taking on Aljamain Sterling for the UFC bantamweight title. So until next time, I'm Unger to the Max. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Peace.